was a wild game, and I don't think any of us thought that the final score was going to resemble anything close to what it does. That fourth quarter,
Wow.
part of the third quarter, and then that fourth quarter, it looked like complete. It looked like the teams just did a flip, and the Nuggets wanted absolutely. Sorry, the Jazz wanted absolutely.
Yeah, no, you got it.
You go back,
The
Jimmy.
Nuggets wanted absolutely. I
you
always
go.
mix those two teams.
You
up.
do what you think is right, buddy.
Doesn't matter. Wanted absolutely nothing to do with this game. It felt like in the end, especially Jokic. I mean, Malone literally punished him. He took him out of the game. I think Jokic quit on a play. Malone said, "You're done for the night, for the day." Sat his ass down and just took the L. I mean, it almost felt like that's what he was like.
He benched him 1 rebound short of a triple-double.
Wild. And you know what? Good on Malone for doing that because it did feel like Jokic kind of checked out there, and Malone was getting none of it. He was frustrated to hell, and he said, "Screw it. We're gonna win or lose with the guys that we have on the court right now." And sure enough, they took a massive L. They lost for sure. I mean, you need Jokic. He's almost too talented to take out. But credit.
It was over at that point, though.
All credit to the Celtics for coming out the way they did in that fourth quarter. Tatum, Brown. You got a good second half of those players, and our boy Grant Williams stepping up big.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Bobby Josue. I was waiting for Bobby Manning's when Grant got in the face of whoever that was who fouled Romeo.
It was Green, JaMychal Green.
Turning point. Oh my God,
your guy Romeo. I thought your guy Romeo kind of put a little pep in their step.
I thought Romeo was good tonight too.
And see, this is the thing about this game.
I liked Romeo tonight.
When we're talking about guys who played well, we're not talking just about Tatum. We're not talking just about Jaylen Brown. We're talking about some of the guys on the side who, for the most part, have not made an impact in this game. Grant Williams, I mean, only had 2 points, but was a plus 23. And for once, that was not a misleading stat. When you look at how he was able to defend Jokic, how he was able to make hustle plays, like the one that we're just talking about that wound up with Romeo getting fouled and making a couple free throws. You start going down this roster beyond your big two of Tatum and Brown, and you see player after player after player making a contribution. And for me, the one thing that it all says is that this team finally decided to fight. They finally decided to fight to win games instead of just letting things play out the way they were. They fought to be a winner, not just assuming it's going to happen.
So that's the question. Was this a Celtics fought game or Denver quit game or both? I think it was kind of both.
I think it was both. Yeah. I think it was definitely both, but I think it was more about the Celtics fighting than it was Denver quitting, because to be honest, I thought the way the Celtics fought was a factor in Denver quitting. This has been one of the concerns that a lot of people, when they think about the Denver Nuggets making a deep playoff run, have. Does this team have the mental toughness to hold its ground when things get rough, when things become a little gritty and grimy? And the play we were talking about this earlier, and we were joking about Grant Williams and that turning point. But I swear, when he got in JaMychal Green's face, that is when I knew there's no way they're going to lose this game, because that's something that they need players to actually stick up for one another. Like I was saying earlier, they need to fight for this stuff, man. They can't just assume that because they've been to the conference finals 3 of the last 4 years, that shit is just going to automatically happen. You got to fight for that. And this was one of the few times where, regardless of what was happening in the game, they were determined to fight to the bitter end. And it was good to see.
It was good, and it reminded me of the Minnesota game a little bit when they went down big to Minnesota, and then they clawed. Marcus Smart kept him in there as best he could, and then the second half they woke up and they again were determined not to go down that way. So again, Sherrod, I think you nailed it. They're fighting for each other for almost for the first time this season. It feels like. I mean, really, we've been waiting for examples of these guys having each other's backs, whether it's on the court or off the court. Speaking to the media, whatever it may be, you're looking for that support, whether it's player to player, player to coach. We didn't get a lot of that.
I know. First, Jaylen gave the bucket to Jason last game, and how much ink was spilled over that. Oh, my God.
Hey, again, the stuff we've talked about over the last week.
Oh, my God. Here it comes. Oh, he gave it to him. So first,
but John, remember, that's an assist. That's an assist for Jaylen. So let's not – it's not totally altruistic. He does get an assist.
I do want to say good morning to Bobby Manning. How are you? Good
Hello.
morning. Welcome. Yeah.
Hey, so again, the stuff we've talked about over the last week, whether it be the team's collective disdain for the officiating or just their whatever it is against the media that they've
Hating the
rallied
Garden
around.
Report.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
I guess that stuff has added up and it made this more cohesive, fighting group. And, Tristan Thompson's return has played some role in that as well. They have just come out here and battered teams defensively. I know we looked at that Charlotte win last Sunday and said, yeah, it's Charlotte, 86 points, whatever. Now to hold Denver to 87 was the
I
performance
know.
of the season. Just an absolutely incredible win. Probably their best since last season.
Again, I'm sorry. I am a little dubious. Like, I agree on the both factor. It's hard.
The defense was legit in that
it's
fourth
hard
quarter.
to hate. Yeah. It's hard. The fourth quarter is its own game. Take that fourth quarter and store it. Celtics absolutely dominated both sides. That was exerting pressure, getting Denver to quit, playing better, all around better offense. Absolutely. Everything that led up until then, it felt like it was one hot streak from Denver, a few 3-pointers away from the Celtics slumping their shoulders and just going home. Like it was. There was
the opposite happened.
It was the opposite happened, which is great. There was a lot of bad. They had 12 assists, I think 13 assists through 3 quarters, a lot of dribble, jacking shots, just not a very cohesive offense. And Denver just wasn't playing well. And it was, Celtics were staying in the game. So it felt like it could go either way. But hats off to the Celtics. They literally just absolutely stepped on their throats in the fourth quarter. So they get all the credit for that. That was incredible. But I didn't know which way this one was going to go after 3. I mean, the Celtics, as Sherrod said it a million times, and you could see the difference in it. The amount of threes that they took, so few of them were inside outside. It was just perimeter, passing and jack up a 3. Those are those lazy, like, I don't want to be out here this afternoon. If they go, great. If they don't, I'm just going to go home and pack it in because it's a matinee and I didn't feel like playing anyway sort of game. So it had that vibe. And then, like I said, as we said, they turned up the heat there late in that third quarter, and they made it really hard. And then Denver just absolutely folded.
And what I liked about this game and what I liked about the win was that in a game where they could not hit a 3-pointer for the life of them, I think they shot like just about 20%. I mean, that's a game that they lose like 99% of the time. But to their credit, they decided to attack the rim, score in the paint. They outscored the Nuggets tonight in the paint, a team that has a guy like Jokic out there. And to me, that's what you want to see, because earlier in the season, they might just stay jacking threes and lose the game. But to their credit, they figured out what wasn't working for them today.
That was the story of the game.
Maybe because they were that day game, matinee sort of sloppy shooting, whatever the reason was. I give them all the credit in the world for, sort of changing the way that they were going to go about their offense today and attacking the Nuggets to the point where they, sucked the life out of them.
Right, but the other thing too that we would be remiss in not talking about is the fact that the Nuggets didn't have Jamal Murray, which again, taking advantage of opportunities that you have nothing to do with. That was one of them. And I thought the Celtics did a good job of forcing others other than Jokic to make plays and get things done. Michael Porter Jr. is having a great year, and so is Aaron Gordon, but you get the sense with those two guys that at some point, they're going to come a little bit closer to earth and play closer to where their talent is as opposed to where they're at now, which is way beyond, I think, either of those guys' talent level. And the Celtics forced Denver to frankly rely on others to make plays and make shots that normally Jamal Murray would make. And again, that's not saying that doesn't take away from the win. That's simply acknowledging the fact that the Celtics had a built-in area that they could exploit. And to their credit, they were able to do that. And that's something we haven't seen them always do. We've seen them play not so great teams or good teams that were missing a key player, and they were never able to take advantage of that missing void on the opposing team. This was one of those games where they did just that and got a win that I think we're all in agreement. This is arguably their best win of the season and maybe one of the better wins they've had in the last couple of years.
What do you say after the last game, Sherrod? It's got to be defense, and this is their potential defensively. It really is. I came into this year saying this could be the best defense in the NBA, and it really can be. They have to lock in. They have to give the effort required, and they have to be connected on that end.